the McDonald Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, my interview with Luann de Lesseps, Countess Luann, will not disappoint. That's coming up in just a few minutes. We talk about everything Real Housewives of New York, this season, last season, what she's been up to during the quarantine, her opinions about all the castmates, and also her opinion on what's going on with Brandon Nice on the other coast in Beverly Hills. But before that, I just want to share some juice that happened over the weekend. So you guys know I'm good friends with Lala and Randall. And someone DM'd me and they said, something's going on with Lala. And I go, what do you mean? And they said she removed all her photos of her and Randall. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I go over to her Instagram and I see the page and it still says podcast with Lala and Randall. So I'm like, well, if something's really serious going on, how are they going to continue this podcast? But I did go, I don't see any photos of Randall in the first page or whatever. Okay. And then someone's like, look at this thing that she just posted on Instagram story. And it was like a really kind of powerful poem, somewhat religious. And I was like, So I reached out to her and I said, I saw your Insta story, Lala. Is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, boo. How's it with you? How are the boys? Liked the videos. And I was like, oh, okay, great. I go, what's with that poem? She's like, oh, it's an AA poem or saying or, prayer that I have been sharing with people. And I go, oh, that's cool. Well, then all these articles, Us Weekly, people are writing articles about the fact that they broke up. So I texted her and I just said, you do not need to confirm or share with me. Just so you know, people are freaking out. They're saying that you and Randall stopped following each other. And she wrote back and she's like, oh my God, we've never followed each other. That's hilarious. And I was like, oh, okay, good. Everything's okay. And then I noticed that Randall, who I followed, posted a photo of her with the girls, his little girls. So I think that was him saying, no, everything's okay. But then this morning, she did make a comment saying that he did piss her off and she did remove some photos and put it into the archive. But I mean, and people are writing me, better what's going on with the wedding, this and that. So I try to do my due diligence, but I also didn't want to be talking to her and not letting her know that I was concerned with everybody else. So far it looks like they're still doing great, okay? Shah's a sunset reunion. It was a 2-part reunion. I watched it. Again, I'm friendly with Mercedes. She's my neighbor now. I really like her. My God, was this an exhausting reunion like no fucking other? It was a Zoom. The entire season was, did MJ get Ali Ashuri, who came on my show, to present these texts that Adam sent him that were inappropriate, and did she have something behind him using the word sexual harassment, which set off Reza, saying that Adam, Reza's husband, sexually harassed him? That's it in a nutshell. It went all on season. Destiny, who's one of the castmates, believes that, MJ did have something to do with it. MJ constantly said, no, I didn't, but you always had an issue with Ali. So when I heard little tidbits about this, I was like, yeah, who cares? You don't care about Ali. Why would you care about this? I'm giving you guys the nutshell because it is really an exhausting thing to have lived through for the last 2 years of watching this show. I don't know. And of course, MJ was desperately very, very, very hurt because she had a horrible birth, almost died. And Reza was so mad about the Ali thing, he never visited her. He has yet to see the baby. Then he got in a fight, a really bad fight with Tommy. It just goes on. And if these two don't make up, there's no way this show can continue. Meanwhile, Destiny, it's all on Zoom, and Destiny is like, Andy June. Let me tell you, Andy June. I'm like, is June his middle name? And I don't know about it. I just didn't know what it was. So I put on Twitter, why is Destiny saying Andy June? Well, thank you to all my worldly friends who let me know that it's like saying the word deer, like Andy deer in Persian culture. So I appreciate that. Gigi was there. She just had a baby. She was high as a kite. She was just like, what? We know she likes her pot. She's not breastfeeding. It's fine. It was, and then, you know how they can't normally in a reunion, they get up, they walk off, they get in people's faces. Andy's been pushed down to the ground by Teresa, but they kind of did it like to the Zoom. So you'd see MJ get up and be like, "Oh my God, Reza, you're my friend of 30 years." And then Reza would cry so much and be like, "This is my friend of 30 years. And I have to look." Oh my God. It was just a lot, you guys. But in the end, they show them calling each other supposedly the next morning, and they're on the path to recovery. There will be a Lala and Randall, and so far there's going to be a Reza and MJ. Kanye apologized to Kim. He went to a mental hospital for 10 minutes. He since got home. He's taken Justin Bieber met him in Wyoming, and they're looking at the new Kanye foam wall art installment, and it just looks like if you were to put like foam on your walls. Takes a couple people to figure out that look. Paris Hilton has a new documentary coming out, and the trailer is that she says, "I'm going to share something about my childhood that I've never shared with anybody, but it has been traumatizing, and I've thought about it every day of my life, and you guys are going to see the real me." Now, my first thought is, oh my God, please don't let it be that she was, sexually molested or assaulted or something awful like that. I really do hope it's that she went to a boarding school and she had some pimples on her chin and she was bullied at the feeding hall. That's what I'm hoping. But if it turns out to be something like that, I will be happy that she wasn't more traumatized as a child, but I will also be fucking pissed. People, celebrities, we do not want to hear about your pimple problems of yesteryear. Okay, that does not make for a documentary. So I'm happy for Paris. She looks gorgeous. She was our original Kardashian, if you will. And she's very, very successful. Even though we don't feel like we see her as much here, she's super successful all over the world with her products. So I am excited to see the documentary. I do find her fascinating to watch. And oh, by the way, someone on Juicy Scoop Obsessed wanted to sell one of my signed VIP tags. She said, "I have a couple and I'm moving. So if anybody would like," no, she didn't want to sell it. She was being a sweet Christian. She said, "I will just give it to you." Anyway, I just was like, that's weird. I don't know if I want that in my Facebook page. Like, hey, who wants a signed tag of me? I don't know. Would you guys want old signed tags of when you've come to VIP things? I don't know. I didn't approve it. Now I'm kind of like, I think I need to know. I'm not exactly sure. But I want to tell you about the best thing. Before I get into my interview with Luann, who is a singer, you guys heard when I tried to do my parody of the Bryan Adams song, Summer of '69. And a lot of you said it shouldn't be COVID-19, which is what I was calling it originally. It should be COVID-19. Well, Sarah Lucci from Facebook, she's a Juicy Scooper. She wrote a pretty freaking good song. And I'm going to sing it to the best of my ability because I think she got it down. Okay, ready? I got my first real face mask. I chose to buy it online. Wore it till I couldn't breathe. It was the summer of COVID-19. Me and some peeps from school had some great talks on the Zoom. Brandon laughed and Drake's feed cut out. Should have known their school would be closed. But when I look back now, the virus seemed to last forever. And if I had the choice, yeah, I wouldn't want to be here. Those were the worst days of my life. Oh, yeah. Have ever used to complain? I have to work from home. Spent my evenings Netflix and chillin'. And I met no one new, yeah. Standing on my mother's porch, waving at my friends as they drove by, staying 6 feet apart. Started taking my classes online. These are the worst days of my life. Oh, yeah. Now in the summer of COVID-19, man, we are wasting time. We are bored and restless. We need time outside. I feel like this will last forever, forever. Yeah! And now the rules aren't changing. Look that all the days have become. And it just goes on. And that is Sarah Lucci comedic parody writer, Juicy Scooper, who sent that to me. So I told her, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Anyone that would like to get me in the studio and do it, if you know Bryan Adams, I'm willing to do a song. Oh, and as you guys know, my stand-up special will be available August 7th on Amazon Prime. You can rent or buy it. Or if you are a member of my Patreon, it will be there, living there at Patreon. So you go to patreon.com/juicyscoop, go to heathermcdonald.net. It's August 7th, Amazon Prime or Patreon, my stand-up special. I love it. I'm showing some trailers on it on my social media to get you guys excited. But now for a real cabaret singer and star, Countess Luann de Lesseps.